work at the Bozeman Public Library in the Children's Department. And as you may know, I love doing story time. I love sharing it with children and families, so I hope you're enjoying these. And thanks so much for the feedback that you are, or if there's something you'd like to see us do different perhaps. So today we're going to talk about feelings. 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 Feelings? Feelings. Did you see all those different facial expressions I had? A lot of times we express our feelings with our face. Can you guys guess what this feeling might be? Sad. How about this one? Bored. Sleepy. Some emotions are hard, hard to decipher from face, like this one. That means I was thinking deeply about something. How about this one? Scared. How about this one? That one's easy. Surprised. How about this one? Worried? Yeah. So our faces show a lot of how we feel inside. What's another way we can share how we're feeling? We can talk about how we're feeling with our words. Our bodies can show how we feel. If I'm like this, that means I'm scared or shy. What about this? What about this? Our bodies can show how we feel too. So we have to think about our feelings a lot because we have them all day long. And they're great to tell people how you're feeling. Let's go into a book that's about some feelings, and then we'll talk a little bit more. This one's called Millie Fierce. Do you know what fierce means? Fierce means kind of like, it's hard to explain. It's like you're on the prowl, you're watching. You can be kind of mean, kind of dangerous. You see her face, a little mischievous. This one's by Jane Manning. She did the pictures and the story. And we have to, of course, thank our publisher, Philomel Books. They are out of New York. And thank you so much for letting me share this book with my friends. Millie Fierce. Let's see what she's up to. Wow, look at that. She must be in a museum. Millie was too short to be tall, too quiet to be loud, and too plain to be fancy. When she spoke at show and tell, hardly anyone listened. When she walked into a room, hardly anybody looked up. And when there was cake to dish out, Millie never got anything better than a small, simple piece. I wonder, she's maybe hoping to get the one with the big frosting roses or some lettering. One day, Millie was drawing sidewalk pictures. She had just finished a flower. It was a bit crooked, but it was the best flower she had ever drawn. And all at once, 3 girls from school marched past her as if she wasn't there. They walked all over her flower and over it until it was nothing more than a big, multicolored smudge. Oh, you can see her face. Like we said, she looks pretty happy here. How do you think she's feeling? I think she looks kind of sad and disappointed, and yeah, you can really see the sadness there, can't you? We've all felt like that before. Millie sat there long after the girls had passed. She looked at the smudge. "That's me," she said. Millie was tired of feeling like a smudge. She didn't like it, not one bit. Oh, look at that face. A new feeling rumbled inside her. Millie stood up. "I'm not a smudge," she said, so loudly it surprised her. That's when Millie became fierce. Remember that word, fierce? Look at her. Look at the picture she drew. Ooh, I think she's out for trouble. Millie frizzed out her hair, and made her eyes look crazy. She looked in the mirror and growled. Look at me and my ferocity, she yelled. Grandpa Edwin noticed. He's sitting there. Remember, she felt like nobody noticed her. She's trying to get some attention, I think. She stomped around in Grandpa's noisy boots, even though it made her toes tingle. And she filled each of her nails to a she filed each of her nails to a tiny point. They are short, but they are sharp, she said. Why would she want sharp nails? She scratched her nails slowly down the chalkboard. The class noticed. Whoa. Oh, they didn't like that, did they? For Millie Fierce, no line was too long to barge in front of. No food was too tasty to flick across the table. Oh my goodness. Now people looked Millie Fierce right in the eye. They were mad and said, shh, with angry faces. But they noticed her. I got some shadows, don't I? I wonder where she's at. You see, this is a statue and she's climbed up and she's behind it. And it's probably a museum and he's saying, shh, don't scream in the museum. Oh no, she left muddy handprints on the kitchen wall and painted her dog Buddy's face bright blue. Watch out, I bite, she howled like a mad thing. And the moon noticed. That moon's like, what? Little by little, people would sit farther away and farther away from her. Millie Fierce noticed that they didn't look at her so much anymore. Yeah, it looks like she's kind of angry about that, doesn't she? I bet she's sad inside too. Why do you think the people aren't wanting to be with her anymore? Maybe all those things she did weren't very kind and kind of annoying. So, she pulled the flower buds of Mrs. Clee's favorite peonies. It's a type of flower. And she laughed when Mrs. Clee's face turned beet red. She only felt a little bit bad about it. She's still being fierce, isn't she? At school, during Jackie Raymond's birthday party, Millie Fierce danced on her chair like a monkey, but no one watched her. Not even a scowl. This is a scowl. When you're mad at someone, you scowl. Oh my goodness, look what she's doing now. So Millie Fierce hid the tail of the donkey. She dumped the jelly beans on the floor. Just ignore her, said one of the girls in her class. And everyone did. Oh, here they, uh-oh. Looks like the cake is missing a piece. Do you have a guess what might have happened here? Do you see what she's eating? Oh boy. So Millie Fierce grabbed the biggest, best piece of cake, the one with 2 roses on it. She took it anyways. She knew it was the birthday boy's piece, but she took it anyways. Just before she took the first bite, she looked around to see if anyone was watching her. Everyone was, but no one made a sound. Now I wonder what you think they're feeling. Disappointed, kind of angry, sad, frustrated. Teacher, they're just upset that she is acting that way. Oh, no one made a sound except Jackie Raymond. It's his birthday, and he's crying. You can see a really sad face there, can't you? Oh, Millie Fierce hung her wild head. For the first time in her life, she wished she was invisible. How do you think she's feeling now? You can really tell from that picture. She's kind of crunched up. I think she feels really bad. She feels bad for what she's done. That day, Millie walked the long way home. She went up to her room and combed out her hair and filed down her sharp nails. She drew a card for Jackie Raymond with a flower on the outside. "I'm sorry and happy birthday," she wrote on the inside, and she signed it Millie. She shined Grandpa's boots and fed Buddy his supper. I see her smiling. I think she's feeling better about herself. Millie decided she liked being good better than she liked being fierce. Most of the time. She's scaring her little stuffed animal. Boy, we saw a lot of different emotions in this book, didn't we? And we saw how she went through a lot of different feelings. She felt alone and sad and like nobody knew her or cared about her, to feeling angry and frustrated and sad when they walked on her painting. And then she got fierce and she kind of had some bad behavior and everyone didn't really like it. And at first they noticed it, but then they're like, oh, just ignore her. She is just awful. And then she realized, oh, maybe I'm hurting people. And she tried to be kind. And then she was much happier. You can see that I think that's her fierce face. Oh, here's another thing that has emotions, dogs. What do you think that dog is feeling? I think he's trying to get away from her when she was in her fierce mode. Millie, fierce. The reason, parents, why we're discussing this today is because children's ability to have impulse control and emotional regulation is one of their best predictors for success in life. There's been a lot of studies on this, and it shows that kiddos who can control behaviors, express emotions appropriately, get along with peers, work well with others, have a higher rate of success, especially in school. So don't forget to call and request us for this. It's got things on it like, children develop an awareness and appreciation of themselves as unique, competent, and capable individuals. So for that, you can work with your kiddo and play the games they want to play, have them describe what their personal preferences are. Also, having children be able to regulate their emotions, so and describe feelings. So reading these books with the facial expressions can help children understand what's being expressed. So just being very open and honest about our feelings and emotions on people's faces, how they feel in different situations, can really help children start to name the feelings, honor the feelings, and know that it's natural and normal to have those feelings. So let's do another book. Let's do our second book. This is a feeling a lot of kids and adults have. About being worried. This one's called Wemberly Worried by Kevin Hankes. And he does the pictures and the story. And Green Willow Books is our publisher today. Here's Wemberly. Oh my goodness. Wemberly worried about everything. Big things, little things, and in between things. And she's like, here she is, she says, I wanted to make sure you were still there. And in the bathtub, she says, Mama, what if I shrink? That's hard. Wemberly worried in the morning, she worried in the night, and she worried throughout the day. See her worrying. You worry too much, said her mother. When you worry, I worry, said her father. Worry, 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 said her grandmother. Too much worry. At home, Wemberly worried about the tree in the front yard. What if it falls on our house? And the crack in the living room wall. What if it gets bigger and something comes out of it? And the noise in the radiator. Tss. What if there's a snake inside? At the playground, Wemberly worried about the chains on the swings and the bolts on the slide and the bars of the jungle gym. And always she worried about her doll, Petal. There's Petal, right there. Shouldn't Petal have a car seat too? Oh, look in the washing machine. Oh wait, right here for you, Petal, and she's getting washed. Don't worry, said her mother. Don't worry, said her father. But Wemberly worried. She worried and worried and worried. Look at all this worrying. When Wemberly was especially worried, she rubbed her Petal's ears. Wemberly worried that if she didn't stop worrying, Petal would have no ears left. She's even worrying about that. On her birthday, Wemberly worried that nobody would come to her party. See, said her mother, there was nothing to worry about. But then Wemberly worried that there wouldn't be enough cake. On Halloween, Wemberly worried that there'd be too many butterflies in the costume parade. I don't see any other butterflies. I see 2 cheeses, and they're both mice in there. See, said her father, there was nothing to worry about. But then Wemberly worried because she was the only butterfly. Do you see her up there in her costume? You worry too much, said her mother. You worry too much, said her father. When you worry, I worry. Worry, 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 said her grandmother. You worry too much. Soon Wemberly had a new worry, school. Wemberly worried about the start of school more than anything she had worried about before. You might worry about a babysitter coming, or preschool, something new. By the time the first day arrived, Wemberly had a long list of worries. What if no one else has spots? What if no one wears stripes? What if no one else brings a doll? What if the teacher's mean? What if the room smells bad? What if they make fun of my name? What if I can't find the bathroom? What if I hate the snack? What if I have to cry? You can see how she's feeling. She's really worried. Don't worry, said her mother. Don't worry, said her father. But Wemberly worried and worried and worried. She worried all the way there. They're heading off to school. While Wemberly's parents talked to the teacher, Mrs. Peachum, Wemberly looked around the room. Then Miss Peachum said, Wemberly, there's someone I think you should meet. Her name was Jewel. She was standing by herself. She was wearing stripes and she had a doll. Can you find Wemberly and her friend Jewel, or the new friend? So I think this might be Jewel. Is that Wemberly hiding? Her new friend looks a little nervous too. At first, Wemberly and Jewel just peeked at each other. This is Petal, said Wemberly. This is Niblet, said Jewel. Petal waved and Niblet waved back. Hi, said Petal. Hi, said Niblet. I rub her ears, said Wemberly. I rub her nose, said Jewel. Throughout the morning, Wemberly and Jewel sat side by side and played together whenever they could. Petal and Niblet sat side by side too. Wemberly worried, but no more than usual, and sometimes she worried even less. Before Wemberly knew it, it was time to go home. She's having a great time, isn't she? She's liking school. Come back tomorrow, called Mrs. Peachum as the students walked out the door. Wemberly turned and smiled and waved. I will, she said, don't worry. Don't worry. Oh, look at that ending picture. I think they had a great time. We have lots of books in our library about kids and emotions. So if you'd like more, feel free to give us a call and we'll gather you some. Perhaps you know that the library has closed as of Friday. And let's see, Friday, November, excuse me, I don't have a calendar, 13th maybe, 12th. And we are here though. We will still be at the library and you can call us on the phone and say, I'm 6 years old and I would really like some books about bees. And we'll gather up some informational books about bees and some stories about bees. And then your parents can drive down here. And when you get here, you call us, tell us you're here, and we'll have the books ready for you. That's going to be called our curbside pickup. And then another thing I wanted to tell you about, we are giving out these fun bags for preschool kids. And in these bags, there's different activities for each bag. Last week we did one on math, or last month, excuse me, and it had all sorts of fun math games inside, and it had a little information for parents on how to help your child with early math. This week's, this next bag comes out next Monday, and it's going to be about feelings and emotions, like our book we read. And inside it, there's all sorts of things you'll find. Like this sheet we made up talks about doing some yoga to feel better and some breathing, some meditative breathing you can do. And we also have a list of all sorts of things parents can do with kids to help emotional and social development. And so this is a great way for kiddos to be all ready for kindergarten next year. This is part of our Countdown to Kindergarten program we have done in the past. So you can call the library to request that bag for the preschoolers. And you can also call the library for a curbside pickup of today's craft. This is called Monster Emotions. Now the fun thing about this is there's flaps. This one has 3 different emotions. What do you think this first one is? Sad, for sure. What about this one? I think maybe tired or sick, not feeling well, and happy. Look at this funny creature. You get to color these however you want. Here's the happy one. Let's see what's next. Oh my goodness, look at that face. What do you think that is? Angry. Oof. And finally, surprised. And look at this one. Silly. Oh, that looks like another surprise. And maybe unsure, a little nervous. So how this works, got all my little things around me here. What you'll do is when you call the library, if you want to get some books, or maybe you just want to get the craft, call up and say, I'd like to pick up the craft. And when you get to the library, call us and we'll run a craft out to you. And this is what it'll look like. You'll get this piece and this piece. Now you cut these out, and these you get to make your own emotions for each of the different 3 monsters. And you're going to cut them out, and then you're going to glue them on these tabs. And you might need an adult to help you with that part. And here's what you'll color, and it shows you where to glue them. And you can see this is where I glued all these tabs all in one spot for the 3. And I glued here and I glued there. So you can make one of these to take home. And you can request a bag. And you can call us for anything you need at the library. We're happy to bring books, music, audiobooks, DVDs for curbside pickup. You'd call 582-2404 to reach us. And I hope we hear from you soon. All right, thanks so much for coming, and I hope you'll come to the next story time. 582-24, 582-2420, 582-24. What number that is? 582. Did I get that number right?